Hey y'all, I'm Shayna. Wanted to have like a quick little chat about Harlem. This is season 3, episode 1 and 2. I'm on my way into the office and I watched the episodes. I didn't take any notes, so I just wanted to chat about it, have a quick discussion. If you're into Harlem and you want to talk about it, then I can try to do, more formal review. Just let me know, if you're into that in the comment section, and I'll be happy to do that. So I think I'm just gonna do person by person. Oh, too face on my shirt. Let me cover it up for this meeting. So, and I hate this time of year because I'm constantly sniffling, like constantly. Don't mind it, just ignore it. But anyway, so let's start off with, we'll do person by person. I'm just going to talk about them all the way through from what I can remember. My memory's not all that great, so if I forgot anything, don't forget to drop that as well. But, should we do Ty? Should we do Angie? Let's do Angie. Our girl, big personality and very, like the comedic relief and all of that of the show. But she's right now she's in her wife to be era. She's engaged, she's planning a wedding, she's still doing Broadway, so she's very much busy. She don't really got time for the girls, you know what I'm saying? Like they having brunch and meeting up, and she ain't nowhere to be found. They like she ditched us again. And even Quinn was like, oh, I hate when a woman like kicks her friend to the curb for a man. And Quinn was like, and I hate, who I used to be, basically. I don't really like women who, kick their friends to the side completely for a man, which I don't think Angie's on that completely. She's like, look, right now we're in the honeymoon stage, we just loving on each other and enjoying each other. That makes sense. Like, now, because I've had a friend who I literally, it's like, okay, I didn't hear from her at all until they broke up, and then here you go. Angie's still trying to check in from time to time. She knows she's been absent, so I'll give her that. It's still new. But what do y'all think about her fiance? Do y'all think they're compatible? Do you trust him? Like, there is a moment when he was like, oh, my client didn't send over papers and all this stuff, and I gotta run. And it's like, he said he was in the real estate, which I know they gotta be like basically on call. But it's like, what else is he into? Now she's living with him, and he's like, look, we need to pick a venue. And then they were talking about Camille's situation, which we'll get into. But she was doing runs with her friend / her ex-bisexual male partner, who she used to kind of date. It's a mess, but they friends now. They're running lines because she's doing Girls Trip, the Broadway edition. And then she said something about kids, and he was like, well, I mean, we're gonna have kids after we got married. Like, we're gonna get married first, but I wanted to have kids immediately after because we're not spring chickens over here. Like, the clock is ticking. Okay, I'm not trying to be 7 years old trying to have no children. Which I get that. But she was like, I still look good. You might still look good, but you ain't still no spring chicken, like you said. Even though women are having children later and later, I don't think anyone should rush to do something they don't want to do. Oftentimes, I think women have children because their husbands want to, and they want to, appease their man, and then they end up resenting it. And then, like Ty had made mention of when she was speaking to Camille, more times than not, this isn't always the case. There's always an exception to the rule, but oftentimes something happens, the responsibility does fall on the mother, and then you walk around and basically lose yourself. So I do applaud Angie for not wanting to do that and wanting to continue on with her dreams first. I just think that she needs somebody who's compatible with her, because even when they met up with the girls and she was like, that venue was too small and not gonna happen, basically. And he's like, I want something intimate with like 10 or 20 people. And she like, I got a big family, I got my friends. Like, now Ty was like, weddings are a waste of money, but she's a little scorned from her situation. I wouldn't personally mind something like intimate as well, small. I wouldn't care about having something smaller. But you have to think about the other person you're getting married to. Like, they have a large family. You do have to consider that, especially if they're actually close to them. You have to factor all those things in before you say I do, and then you make a compromise. And that's what the marriage is going to be. There's a lot of compromising. It's not just one way or the other. But she wants, like, background singers behind the preacher and all this. Girl. And he's like, no, he don't want that. And they're like, have you met Angie? So I don't know if they're going to be good long term. Because I feel like either he's going to start to get resentful because he got to budge, or she is, and she got to budge. They say opposites attract, and that's true, but do they last? Like, yeah, sometimes it can be good to have that balance, and sometimes you just clash because you're just so different. So, moving on, then we have Ty. She's like, look, I'm being celibate or abstinent. You know, people always get the two mixed up, and sometimes I do too. Like, I'll be like, but you know, she's not doing the sexuals at the moment, because the last time, we know how it ended last season when she was messing with the mom and then she was messing with the daughter, was her jump off. And you know, I'm at that age too where I can mess with the daddy or the son, like either one. So she, after that, she was like, she lost a good woman. So she like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired of, you know, basically going all around the city being a loosey-goosey. Like, I need a break. But she was talking to this woman who's very pretty, you know, on a business proposal. They're talking about business. But the lady's clearly flirting with her and inviting her out for drinks. And then she's like, no, I'm not. So the lady was like, no, you know, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do. Like, it's not that type of party. But she's obviously lying. So she met with her for drinks, and she said it was a company thing. And then they ended up talking, and the lady apologized and was like, I'm sorry if I came on too strong. I was flirting with you. It was inappropriate. I usually don't, you know, do that where I work, but, you know, something about you. And Ty was like, no, I'm attracted to you as well, but, you know, I mess up lives. Like, I'm toxic. I'm a mess. I just got divorced from my ex-husband, who I just completely ghosted and abandoned. And then I was messing with a mother and a daughter, and that's just half of it. So I'm taking a break right now. And the lady was like, it's just drinks, baby. And she's like, that's how it always starts. And then it gets messy. And she's like, just don't let it get messy. And I do feel that to an extent, because I feel like, okay, you got messy past and all that. And that's good that you just throwing your baggage out on the table up front, I guess. Because dang, hello, nice to meet you. Okay. But yeah, don't let it, I feel like if you want to do something, like if you want to be with somebody or you want to make something work, you just make it work. Like, you just, now my ankle's a little cold. You just don't be messy anymore. She accepts that that's your past. We all have a past. And just don't do that going forward. Like, don't do that with me. And either you're going to change or not. So it's really, it's up to Ty. So I think she's going to end up messing with that lady. Like, what y'all think? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. She might be the one to mess around. She might be the one to mess around, settle down, and get married at the end of this. We only got 6 episodes. I think there's so much more we could have done with this show. I like the show better than Run the World. I couldn't even get into that. And I feel like our black shows get canceled too quick, too soon. And it's not fair. But enough of my gripes. So then we have Quinn. I'm loving Quinn this season. And then Quinn says she's a Cancer. And I knew she was. Because I'm a Cancer, you know, so I knew her character was going to be a Cancer. Shout out to us Cancers, okay? The emotional, what did Kofi say? Feel sensitive to everything and then nothing at the same time, or whatever he said. Like, okay, you know, I like that, all right. Because, you know, Kofi fine. And, you know, I like my man a little chocolatey. But it's not about me. Back to the show. So, Quinn, she's working, she's doing self-care, self-love. Like, she ain't really dating right now either, and I can appreciate this. I think, yes, everybody take a break from dating. Like, we don't always have to focus on just having a man and dating and being with a man and a man and a man and a man and a man. Like, what else is going on? Even though there's gonna be like love interest and things like that on these shows, of course, you know, that's a part of life. But why does that always have to be the main focus? It gets draining after a while. So she's designing someone's clothes, and then the person who she's designing, she's like, the lady, she was like, yeah, you got daddy's car, right? And she's like, yeah. She's like, so I never asked you, like, is it like daddy, like my father? Or is it daddy, like zaddy, like, you know, a sugar daddy? And she was like, you know, it's like a sugar daddy situation. He a sugar daddy who don't get no sugar, but he know what it is, you know, and I'm just having fun. Gwen said, look, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at it. And I ain't mad, me personally, I ain't mad at it either. I'm really not. Girl, you young, you know, you fine, you don't got no kids, girl, do you. Do what you do, okay? I mean, a lot of people are having transactional situations. I couldn't do it. I was always, when I was, especially in my 20s, trying to date for love and all that. Man, I ain't mad at nobody just living their life at this point. I am not mad at it. So she was like, okay, well, that's what you want. And, you know, how about you come to my party? And Quinn was like, oh, nah, if it's an ex party, then I don't want, you know, I got exes all over Manhattan, all these men and a woman. And she's like, no, it's not like that. Like, just come through, bring a friend, bring some friends. So Quinn said she gonna come through. So then when because Camille was having lunch with Ty and them, and Quinn was giving all the advice and everything. I just didn't like when she told Ty, because Ty was saying like, no, I'm abstaining from the sexuals right now. I don't want to just have sex right now. Like, I'm good off of that. I'm focusing on me. It's been 2 months, which is like, to me, like, that's no time. Like, 2 months is like 2 hours. Like, when you realize, like, it ain't that big of a deal. Like, I could go without it for 2 years, honestly. Like, I'm not, maybe, just casually, I'm not into that. So it's like, for me, it ain't no big thing. But for Ty, somebody who was doing that regularly, like, she like, look, I'm really forcing myself. Like, I really don't want to do it. I think that's great. Yeah, focus on yourself. When you stop having all these distractions, you can really focus on what you need to be focusing on for yourself and how you can make yourself better and, you know, keeping your health good and all these things when you're not just out there just focusing on that one thing. When Ty was like, well, what's the point? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's not going to make you a better person or something, or it's not going to change anything. Like, Quinn told Ty that, and I'm like, Quinn, that's horrible advice. Why? She's this lady saying she doesn't want to do that right now, and you're trying to tell her that she should. Why? Like, no, she shouldn't. She should do exactly what she's doing. I think she's doing the right thing. But anyway, so then she goes to the party with Angie and Camille. Camille too worried about Ian to even enjoy all the eye candy at the party. Angie there looking, even though she don't need to be because she got a man, but she's just there for moral support, I guess. And then they looked at one guy, and she was like, "What kind of cute?" And Angie was like, "No," like trying to say, you could tell he little, he teeny weeny because of the leg to feet ratio. And she's like, "Girl, I slept with him." I slept with him, and I know he ain't got it like that. Okay, that's why. Listen, I already knew when she made that comment. But so Camille comes across Kofi, and I forgot what his character name is, but it don't matter. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's funny how they talk about Girls Trip, and then he was in Girls Trip. But anyway, so she meets with him, and they talking, and he was like, after she said she was a Cancer, she was like, look, I'm not looking for anything serious. He said he don't want nothing serious, you know, no strings attached situation. They just looking to have fun. So they go to her house, do the grown up. Before he can even open his eyes, she's fully dressed, gave him coffee on the side, and was like, look, you got somewhere to be? What you about to do? What you about to do? Because I'm about to go. So then he answered a phone call, and he was like, like my assistant or whatever, his designer, his stylist, wasn't answering the phone. He didn't have what he need for the ESPYs award. I guess he's supposed to be a football player or something. I don't know. So he trying to go to the awards. The ESPYs is for athletes, and he don't have his designs. And she was like, okay, it's not like you can't shop to just go to a men's warehouse or something in New York City. Like, there's plenty of clothing stores. We're in New York. And he was like, yeah, I don't do that. My stylist, she got my sizes and everything, and that's what I pay her to do. And she was like, okay, you know what? Fine. How about you call this number, give this person your measurements, have her pick out something. She's better with darker skin tones, and then I will do what I need to do and alter it for you so it fits you just right in time for your show. So what she did. So she ends up doing that for him. And she was like, just take it as a thank you for, you know, what you did for me last night. Okay. And he was like, so he was like, okay, because it's not going to mess up the whole no strings attached thing. This no strings attached, I think he going to be the one to get attached. And then she going to have to decide, do she want to keep moving forward with him or not? Because they get there, and he was like, you know, on this rare that a woman surprises me. And she was like, I'm not just any old woman. I'm Quinn MF and whatever her last name is. And I said, I heard that. And then he was like, so they get to the show, and he actually, somebody mentions his suit, and he was like, oh, well, that's my new stylist, Quinn whatever. Like, he gives her credit. He gives her flowers. So she's like, okay, now she getting all this recognition. Her DMs is getting blown up because he shouted her out. So she gets, she's a stylist. I think this can get messy. Are you coming out, lady? Because I'm about to take your spot. Ooh, yeah. I think this can absolutely get messy. And it probably will. But sometimes people, famous people, they marry their stylists and stuff like that. I mean, all I think about, you know, what coming to my mind first and foremost is Emily B and Fabulous. And we see how that worked out. And I don't know if that's a good example. Probably not. So, yeah. I wouldn't be mixing business with pleasure, but, you know, here we are. She said no strings attached. She said it. It always start off that way, like Ty said, and then until it's not, until it turns into something else. Did she come out? What's she waiting for? So we get to Camille, the messiest of them all, the main storyline we have here. And so we going back, because we know how we ended off last season with somebody being pregnant. We trying to figure out who it is, who's the one that's pregnant. Girl, you know I'm trying to take your spot and you just sitting in your car just looking. Fine, I just have to park somewhere else. She's probably going, as soon as I park, get out, then she gonna pull off. Don't piss me off. So, girl, I will circle the block 27 times trying to get a closer spot. I do not like, well, it's cold. I do not like walking far in the cold. I hate it. I don't like being far away from the door at all. But especially when it's cold. Okay, I told you I'm a Cancer, I'm a summer baby. So, Camille, she was messing with Ian. We pick up and they apparently broke up. No surprise there. It's like I wanted them to work, but they were just, they're hurt. Her, the whole situation is messy. Her character is annoying. She can just be irritating a little bit, and they just write her that way. And she don't have to be that way. This is the way she handles stuff, like, and I don't like when people be like, oh, you're a little too emotional or whatever, but she is. she handles stuff like, and I'm emotional, honey, but I mean, I'm like, she don't even be thinking at all before she do stuff. She just, whatever comes to mind, she just gonna say it, do it. Girl, don't get at me too much, but she does. So they break up, and he brings over her last couple of items he had, which was 2 books. Like, child, you could have just mailed that, like 2 books. So they end up just going from exes to friends with benefits. Imagine going from being engaged to the man at one point to his girlfriend to his friends with benefits. Like, girl, at this point, get your dignity off the floor and just move on. So they've been doing that for months. Should have known then what time it was. So all of a sudden, he just ghosted her. Like, he told her one night, like, oh, I gotta go. Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be meeting somebody else. Like, I done overbooked myself. I done overextended myself. I'm over here with you, and I'm supposed to be smashing somebody else. So she's like, wait, what? And he was like, I knew we couldn't do this. I knew you would have a problem with this no strings attached. Everybody need to stop with the no strings attached, because somebody's strings always get attached. Either one person catch feelings or both people do, and then it's a mess. Like, people need to just stop doing it. Unless you really bout that life, y'all need like contracts and all that, because just doing it don't work. Especially with exes who you have feelings for. So she was like, okay, well, I'll be here waiting when you get done, taking somebody else on a real legitimate date. You can come back over here and smash me. Make that make sense. Why not hurry up? So he was like, okay, I will. I wish I would ever tell a ninja that. I would never. Oh, you mess with... Nah, because I don't know who else you sleeping with. This little situation we got is done. I can't do casual. I told y'all. So she don't hear from him no more. She texting him. He not responding. So she out at lunch with the girls minus Angie. And that's when she see, because she was complaining about him. And then Ty was like, there go your old your old work over there. So they see him with a woman. And they was like, ooh. And she was like, oh no, that's his old family friend. Like, that ain't about nothing. Then he kissed her like passionately. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. That don't look like that's like his sister to me. So she's surprised. She's texting him. She calling his name. He ignoring her. She goes to the party with Quinn. He sending her a voice note like, basically, leave me alone. I didn't see you, but tell your friends to stop watching me when I'm kissing somebody. Like, okay. So they going forth and back and forth. And then she ends up, because I think he ignored her, so she ends up banging on his door. Like, girl, stop. That's one thing I can't say about these shows. Y'all gonna stop showing up at people's houses unannounced. But she goes, and the same person, I think her name is Portia, whose family friend turned girlfriend, answers the door. So they must really be on something. She opening his door, because you ain't opening my door, you don't live here. But she opened the door. Then Kimmy was like, hey girl, I ain't come to talk to you. Where's Ian? So Ian comes out, and she was like, no, the way you did that, like, you didn't have to ignore me, and you could have told me. And he's like, look, you know, Portia's back, we connected, like, this is serious, this is not just some casual thing. And because she was like, I don't need to hear about who you sleeping with. And he was like, this ain't no casual thing. She's like, it's only been 2 months. And he was like, when you know what you want, you don't waste no time. I said, ooh, ladies, take that. Say, I know this is a scripted series, but pay attention, because men really feel like that. You dating somebody for 6, 7, 10 years. You engaged for 5 to 10, 15 years. Stop. When a man wants you, it don't take that long. Okay? Period. Don't let him tell you different. Especially when you full grown. You 40 years old, wasting away time. Don't. But you know, you don't gotta listen to me. That's just what I think. So anyway, so then she like, she was like, oh, so that's what I was doing? You know, basically I was just, you know, holding up time. Like, yeah. You were just sitting there until the person he really wanted came along. But, I mean, I think initially when he first was with her, he wanted her, but so much has transpired that now he don't. So, she was like, well, I'm blocking you. So, they went out to brunch. That's the one Angie showed up to. And she ends up saying, like, I can't take this shot. My stomach been queasy all day. She ended up throwing up in the club. I hate vomiting. Like, it's like the worst feeling in the world. Just seeing that alone will make my child, I never want to get pregnant again. I'm talking about y'all can take my whole uterus out. I don't want to go through it. I don't want to do it ever again. I don't like nothing about it. I don't miss it. I don't want it. No. So that's what she finds out. They go to the doctor, and I know this is not real, but I was annoyed because the doctor was like, yeah, you're good, and the baby's doing good. And it was like, baby. And she's like, yeah, you got a positive pregnancy test and a blood test. Well, how do you know the baby doing good without an ultrasound? Just because she had a positive pregnancy test doesn't mean the baby's doing good. Like, what? But I digress. So, then she was like, it was like, well, first she was going around trying to figure out what am I going to do. So we spent all of episode 2, basically, like her debating what she going to do. And should she tell Ian? And at first she did. And she goes to the doctor to find out she almost 3 months. That reminded me of that show. Y'all remember that show? I didn't know I was pregnant. And people be going their whole pregnancy not knowing they're pregnant. Like, dang, how can you go months without knowing? But she said she always had a regular period. She didn't think nothing of it. And I guess she started getting symptoms late. So, because me, I knew before the 6 week, before the pregnancy test, before the next period, I knew. So, yeah. But, so she was like, first she's finally told him. She talked to the girls after Angie was talking about, ooh, that look like an ugly, like, pinto bean or whatever she said. Like, girl, that is so disrespectful. You know, stop. And that's not even like, that's like just a small little, you can't even see the baby. Like, she's not even 3 months. But they're like, oh, girl, don't keep it. But Quinn like, yeah, keep it. And maybe you and Ian will work out. Don't do it just to work out with him. Do it because you want to be a mother. They said she has a probability of not having any more kids. I think if I was in her case, even though she had just quit her job, she just quit her full-time job to be a freelance writer, and the timing is awful, and we living in New York and it's expensive. Ooh, I gotta really run. Let me hurry up and wrap this up. I probably would have done it because she doesn't know she can have more children, even though the situation is not ideal. But it never is when you have these unplanned pregnancies. And even when you plan them, it doesn't always go as planned. So she back and forth. She like, I don't want to be like a terrible mother like my mother was, basically. She called her mom because the doctor said, call your mom, see if you had anything that she needs to know about, basically. She called her mom, telling her mom she was pregnant. The mom is weird. I guess she just like, look, she's like, I did the best I could. You always judging me. Maybe the mom just feels like she just wasn't a good mother. She doesn't know how to, show that emotional side or be vulnerable with her. Like, she told her she was pregnant, and the mom was like, didn't even care. And there was times when I felt like my relationship with my mom was strained, and I felt closer to my dad because me and my mom are so similar. But now that's my best friend, and I really couldn't even imagine like being an adult and not being able to share this moment with my mom. So it's unfortunate, and it has her second guessing that she want to be a mom because of her mom. So she arguing with Ian about it at his house. So she finally told him. He want to keep the baby even though he's in a relationship. These men are so messy. So Auntie Bev, I forgot what Beverly's name is on the show, but y'all know who Bev is. She overhear him because after Camille talked to her mom, she was like, I'm not keeping this baby. So Bev told her, like, look, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going to tell you about me. You don't judge me. Come to find out, she had to make the decision to terminate. So she did in the past. And she said, but Ian's mom made the decision, and it was unexpected, to keep Ian. And then she ended up being a great mom. And she's not the type of mother that their mother was. She had the same concerns. So you're not going to be your mother. You are not your mother. You're your own person. You'll be your own mother. And because you had that relationship with your mother, you probably be a better mother because of it. So finally, after some thinking and playing games and writing down why she shouldn't and why she should, she decides to keep the baby. But while she's in there, Ian is in an appointment, and he's trying to do IVF with his girlfriend that he only started dating. I know y'all been friends since childhood, but y'all only been dating for 2 months. Ain't said nothing about getting married. Craziness. I mean, just not long ago, he was trying to marry somebody else. But I'm like, she gonna have the baby, and then they doing IVF. What is he gonna do? I don't know. If it wasn't for that chance that she may not have more, I don't know if I would go through this. But there's oftentimes if women terminate the pregnancy and then they have the struggles conceiving again. So it's a tough situation. What would y'all do in this situation? I got emotional because of my youngest child. I was contemplating as well, like, is this the right time? Should I make this decision? I didn't want to be a single mother too. I ended up being a single mother too. Not ideal, but I love my children, and my daughter's such a blessing. So y'all let me know what y'all would have done in this situation and what you think about this being the last season of Harlem. I gotta go to a meeting, but I will talk to y'all later. Bye.